There was no way I could just start teaching swordsmanship on the spot. But it seemed like everyone was interested in my style, and after a suggestion from Captain Dalsum, I found myself roped into a series of one-on-one mock battles. As the clan leader, this was a fight I couldn't afford to lose. To make it look like I had plenty of energy to spare, I'd exchange 2 or 3 blows with each opponent before quickly finishing the match. I had to do this with 100 men. It looked like most of them used the same divine sword style as Erna. This style focuses heavily on single, decisive strikes, which tends to leave them open. It was a good matchup for my Corinthian style, which relies on a high volume of attacks. By the time I was done, I was completely exhausted, but I think I managed to keep up the pretense of having energy to spare. Seriously, that was rough. I'll get Erna back for this one day. After we all took a bath, it was already time for dinner. I was dying for a cold ale, so I put in a request with the kitchen. I saw Ella toddling out from the kitchen, carefully carrying a stein in her hands. Everyone watched with bated breath as she made her way over. Somehow, she made it all the way to me. "Big bro." Thank goodness. It seemed Ella was still calling me Big Bro. "Ella, you're working hard, aren't you?" "Uh-huh, it's fun." "Is that so? Keep it up." "Okay." She toddled back to the kitchen. It looked like Sally was taking good care of Ella and the others. Once everyone had their food and settled down, I called out to them, "Everyone, listen up. The money we seized from the bandits comes to 310,000 guineas. The rest of the loot was valued at another 250,000 guineas. Whoa! On top of that, we have 210,000 from the reward and the quest fee, and we're still expecting the bounties that were on the bandits themselves. Yeah! I'll announce the bounty money as soon as it comes in." It's better to share numbers like these with everyone. It'll boost their motivation. "Captain Dalsum, after dinner, could you gather the party leaders in the office? I'd like to have a meeting." "Understood." After dinner, the members and party leaders gathered in the office. "All right, there are a few things I want to discuss. This clan operates on a monthly salary system. What do you all think we should set the pay at?" "A salary, sir? Well, since we get breakfast and dinner provided, I think the bare minimum would be fine. 500 guineas should be more than enough." 500 guineas is way too low. After paying for lunch, they wouldn't even have enough to buy clothes. It's a strange thing, but when people don't have money, their spirits tend to wither. "No, 500 is far too little. Let's make it 1,500 guineas. With that amount, they could go out for a drink now and then and buy a new set of clothes. Everyone is risking their lives out there. I think they at least deserve that much breathing room." Captain Dalsum looked like he wanted to say something, but he didn't object. "Ellen, let's make our salaries the same," Clelia said. "I hardly spent any money this past month." The other members nodded their agreement. It was true. Besides lunch, the only thing I'd bought was a set of clothes and a grill for the barbecue. 10,000 guineas was definitely too much. All right, we'll do that then. Captain, I need you to select 2 or 3 people to manage the clan's finances, and also pick a few people to be in charge of procuring supplies. Honestly, it was all getting to be a bit much for me. I'm sure there were people better suited for it. Understood. I will have them selected by tomorrow. Good. Next, let's talk about hunting bandits. When it comes to facing an enemy, there's no such thing as too many allies. However, having all 105 of us move as a single unit is extremely inefficient. Therefore, I propose we create 2 separate extermination teams that will operate independently. I looked around the room, but no one seemed to have any objections. It was the logical choice. All right, the Shining Star Party will be split in 2 as well. Basically, me and everyone else. So you'll be operating separately from us? Sharon asked. That's right. I don't mean to brag, but as things stand, I think that's what it'll take to make the teams even. I see. I agree, Selena said. Sharon didn't have a problem with it either. Clelia also nodded in understanding. I will take command of 1 extermination team. For the other team, I'm thinking Selena will be the commander with Sharon as her second in command. I scanned the room again, but people looked surprised, but no one spoke up. Clelia and Erna didn't seem to object. Selena and Sharon, however, had expressions of fierce determination. Captain Dulcim, any thoughts? Having the person with the most information take command is one of the ideals of leadership. It's perfectly logical for the 2 of them who can use detection magic to be in charge. More importantly, they both proved their capabilities in the last battle. We have no objections whatsoever. I didn't expect everyone to agree so easily. Of course, the reason Captain Dulcim just stated is exactly why I nominated Selena and Sharon. However, there was another reason. In the Imperial Army, Selena is the second in command. If I were to die, Selena, who outranks Sharon, would become the captain and take command of the Imperial forces. I wanted both Selena and Sharon to get as much experience as possible for that eventuality. All right, then. The team led by Selena will be A team. The other will be B team. I unrolled a map and spread it on the table.
Next, our targets. Take a look at this map. I have intel that a group of bandits has set up a trap at this location. There are 18 of them in total. It seems about 14 of them are usually at the trap, with the remaining 4 at their hideout. The hideout is right here. This will be A team's mission. Understood, Selena replied. Selena, take satellite teams 1 through 5 with you. The journey should take a total of 2 nights. 1 night to get there and 1 to get back. Got it. I had Iris create a video compiling the drone surveillance and intel on the bandits. I'd send it to Sharon and Selena later. I'd already reviewed it, and to be honest, the video quality was pretty low. I'd have to teach Iris how to make more compelling videos someday. B team will be satellite teams 6 through 10. We'll attack the bandits at this location. There are 20 of them. This will also likely be a 2-night trip. The leaders of teams 6 through 10 stared intently at the map with serious expressions. Frankly, with these numbers, this should be an easy win. You're an elite force, far superior to any bandits, and you'll be ambushing them with more than double their numbers. There's no way we can lose. Therefore, our goal is a flawless victory. I want every single one of you to come back without so much as a scratch. Our true objective lies much further ahead. We don't have time to stumble here. Understood? Yes, sir. Departure for both A team and B team will be at dawn, the day after tomorrow. Tomorrow, let's all brainstorm the most efficient way to take down these bandits. With the meeting concluded, everyone dispersed. I was so tired from the day that I fell asleep almost immediately. The next morning, after breakfast, we all gathered in the dining hall to discuss the most efficient way to defeat the bandits. A variety of ideas were thrown around, but we eventually settled on a plan. Use air bullet to knock the bandits off their feet, and while they're down, another group rushes in and strikes them with wooden swords. The consensus was that it was easier to avoid killing them by hitting them with full force using a wooden sword than by trying to hold back with a real blade. We immediately went out to the main square to practice the coordination. It turned out that quite a few people could use air bullet. Both A team and B team had over 20 mages. We spent a while practicing the timing. The mages would fire their air bullets, and at the same moment, the others would dash in and strike with their wooden swords. All that was left was to test it in a real fight. Lord Alan, what are your plans for the afternoon? Dalsum asked. I've got a small errand to run. It slipped my mind, but we only have one box carriage, don't we? For our operations, it's better to have a covered carriage where you can't see inside. I'm not sure if I'll find one, but I'm going to go look. Oh, is that so? I understand. For some reason, Captain Dalsum looked disappointed. Don't tell me... Oh, Lady Selena. Lady Sharon, what are your plans for the afternoon? Selena and the others, who replied that they had no particular plans, were promptly cornered by Captain Dalsum and dragged back to the square. I knew it. That was a close call. I was almost roped into another training session. I found a box carriage at the Commerce Guild with surprising ease. It was used, just as I'd hoped, and wasn't in the best condition, but since we wouldn't be using it for long, it wasn't a problem. The price was 20,000 guineas, and they even delivered it to our base home. Selena and the others were still in the middle of a training session on Imperial arts, the Empire's martial art style, so I pretended to be busy and quickly ducked inside the building. 2 days in a row would have been too much. Early the next morning, Shining Star's A team and B team departed from Gaunt's together. We parted ways with A team at the first fork in the road. Selena, Sharon, I'm counting on you to take care of everyone. Understood. You can count on us. I had a satellite team assigned to provide direct cover for A team, so their security should be perfect. There was nothing to worry about. Selena and Sharon were showing an incredible amount of enthusiasm for this mission. They had spent hours meticulously reviewing the intel video, and then they presented their own strategy to me for my approval. Their plan was solid, and since this was a battle we were expected to win anyway, I wasn't too concerned. Our B team's journey was uneventful, and on the second day we arrived near the point where the bandits were lying in wait. The plan was the same as last time. 2 flanking teams would sneak up behind the bandits and attack on my signal. Flanking teams, move out. 20 men in each team moved silently into the mountains on either side of the road. The drone footage showed 8 bandits on the right side of the road and 10 on the left. Once I confirmed via drone that the flanking teams were in position, I started the carriage moving forward. A very loud bell was attached to the horse, clanging as we moved. The plan was for the flanking teams to use this sound to gauge the carriage's distance as they crept closer to the bandits. Even if there was a clever bandit who figured out our plan and spotted our teams, we still had more than doubled in numbers. I wasn't particularly worried. 10 of us were in the carriage. On the driver's bench were myself and Walter, the leader of Team 6. The other 8 were hiding silently inside the box carriage. Thanks to the bell, the bandits were aware of our approach from a good distance away. This time, there were no lookouts in the trees. When we were about 10 meters from their hiding spot, I launched a fireball into the air as the signal. The moment the bang echoed, screams and shouts erupted from both sides of the road. The carriage team burst out and charged toward the bandits, but it looked like the fight was already over. One by one, bandits were kicked out onto the road. "Lord Alan, that was over in an instant," Walter remarked. "Yeah, it was. We didn't have to do a thing." Once all the bandits had been thrown out, the flanking teams emerged onto the road as well. "Is anyone injured?" I called out. No one spoke up. The men quickly began tying up the bandits, who looked completely dazed, as if they had no idea what had just happened. "All right, good work, everyone. That couldn't have gone smoother. Let's head to the bandits' hideout. Oh, Team 10, sorry, but I need you to stay here and watch the prisoners." Everyone was chattering about how well the plan had worked as we prepared to move. We headed for the hideout, located about 3 kilometers to the north. This group's hideout was rather unique. They had built a large shack up in a tree. It was a crude structure, of course, barely enough to keep the rain out. But when I thought about the effort it must have taken to build it, it seemed they would have been better off just getting an honest job. 40 of us surrounded the treehouse. The 2 people inside were obviously aware of us, but they were pretending not to be home. "Hey, you 2 up there, come down quietly before I decide to light this thing on fire." They seemed to be ignoring me. They had some nerve. Without hesitation, I shot a small fireball through an open window frame and into the shack. I could hear them scrambling to put out the fire. "Hey, don't make me angry. I'll spare your lives if you come out now." A short while later, the bandits lowered a rope ladder and trudged down. They were, of course, immediately restrained. "All right, Walter, let's see what treasures they have." "Yes, sir, Lord Alan." We climbed the rope ladder one by one to make sure it wouldn't break. The inside of the shack was more barren than I expected. Aside from bowls, a large number of arrows, food, and alcohol, there were only a few wooden boxes. We found a hidden leather pouch with some guineas, but it was less than 50,000. Damn it, a dud. We lowered the few valuable spoils with a rope and headed back to the road. It was clear that the small amounts of loot was affecting everyone's morale. Still, a win was a win, and spirits weren't exactly low. Back on the road, I let Walter take the reins, and we started heading back to the spot where we had camped the previous night. It was almost time for Selena's battle to begin. I pulled up the drone feed from above their position on a virtual window. Their flanking teams were just about to get behind the bandits. Selena and Sharon were each leading a flanking team. Clelia was with Selena's team, and Erna was with Sharon's. According to the plan, the carriage was supposed to start moving at a designated time. It looked like the flanking teams had managed to get into position on schedule. As the carriage approached, the flanking teams crept closer to the bandits. Just as the bandits began to draw their bows, Selena gave the signal. Just like in our battle, the bandits were sent flying by air bullets and then mercilessly beaten with wooden swords by the men who rushed in. The fight was over. Well, that was to be expected. No one seemed to be injured. The operation was a success. All that was left were the 4 bandits in their Kate hideout. There was no way they could fail. I just hoped Selena's team didn't get a dud, too. By 2 in the afternoon the next day, we, the B team, had arrived back in Gantz. As expected, we were stopped by the city guards. "Hey, hold. Oh, it's the leader of Shining Star. Some of your people just got back a little while ago, dragging a bunch of bandits behind them." "We're a different group, with different bandits. Oh, wait right here." One of the guards ran off to get reinforcements. Before long, Captain Guido appeared, leading several other guards. "Oh, come on, you again. What in the world is going on?" "We've captured some bandits. We're handing them over to you." "All right, we'll borrow the chains again. Men?" Just as the guards were about to haul the bandits away, one of them started shouting, "It's a mistake. We're not bandits. These people just attacked us out of nowhere." I walked over with Captain Guido to look at the protesting bandit. "It's true. We were just walking along the road when they suddenly attacked us." The other bandits started shouting the same thing. Captain Guido raised a hand to silence them. "Oh, is that so? You don't look like adventurers or merchants to me. What? How can you judge us just by our clothes? Listen, who do you think I'm going to believe? You who look and dress like bandits, or a B-ranked adventurer who leads a clan of 100 men? You figure it out." "No."
Then, you'd better withstand our interrogation. If you can do that, maybe I'll reconsider. Not that anyone ever has. Take them away." The bandits were dragged off, still shouting and protesting. "Good work out there," Guido said to me. "I'll have the chains sent back to you tomorrow." "Understood." I felt a slight chill at how this world could decide good and evil based on something as vague as trust. But on the other hand, this meant we wouldn't have to go through the trouble of staging an attack on ourselves. This opened up a lot of options. When I got back to the home base, it seemed Selena's team had also just returned. One of the members ran over to me. Selena said, "Alan, we're back safely. No injuries." "Excellent. Well done." Selena and Sharon looked incredibly pleased. "We got a huge amount of loot. Over 150,000 guineas in cash, too. How about you guys, Alan?" "We did. All right." "Right, Walter?" "Yes, sir, we did all right."